Are you guys ready for vanilla sex? You know, I've been talking about it here and there in various videos. In fact, I did a whole video on vanilla sex from Tom Ford, along with Oud Wood Parfum, and also Oud Minerale moving into the signature line. If you haven't got that video, please go catch it. But today, I'm going to talk to you about my thoughts on my sampling of vanilla sex. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted about it. I got to smell it, and also got to smell the latest version of Vanille Fatale. They are relaunching. Tom Ford is relaunching Vanille Fatale. I'm going to tell you about these two fragrances coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Sebastian. Yes, I'm talking about vanilla sex. Are you familiar with this fragrance yet? Have you heard about it? Yes, if you have been following me, I spoke about it several times on different videos here and there. Finally, I got to put my nose on it a week or so ago. And let me tell you, it does not disappoint. Really doesn't disappoint. I've been a bit let down with a lot of Tom Ford releases as of late. And you know, I'm biased because I'm a vanilla lover, but this one did not disappoint whatsoever. As soon as I smelled it, first thing I thought to myself was a really creamy, really milky, powdery, almondy nougat candy. That's what I thought about it as soon as it was sprayed on me, and that is the thing I got with this one. So finally, Fragrantica has posted the product. I got to post about my experience with it almost a week before Fragrantica posted about it, but I enjoyed sampling this one. What I want to tell you is what the notes breakdown are. So we've got bitter almonds for the top notes, so getting that almond nougat kind of a vibe from this fragrance makes total sense. Bitter almonds for top notes. Heart notes features floral notes and also vanilla tincture. So this is going to be a vanilla bomb, so very vanillic. Finally, in the base notes, there's vanilla absolute, tonka bean absolute, sandalwood, and ultravanil. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about ultravanil. What is ultravanil? It has a strong resinous background. Ultravanil works well in combination with vanillin and ethyl vanillin. It is also used to boost the performance of Isobutavan. This is getting a bit too chemistry for me, but ultravanil 80% DPG has a very powerful vanilla absolute note. Neat, it has a strong phenolic background. 1% to 2% of a 10% dilution can be used as a booster to other vanillic notes in formulation. Ultravanil 80% DPG works well in combination with vanillin and ethyl vanillin. It is also used to boost the performance of Isobutavan. Ultravanil is far less discoloring than other vanillic notes. So that is what it says about ultravanil. And also the registered trademark R is right next to the word ultravanil. So I looked it up. It is a Givaudan proprietary note or ingredient, so it's used in their fragrances when a perfumer of theirs creates a fragrance and they want to use this ingredient, ultravanil, they will utilize it and use it. And I had a hunch it was going to be Givaudan before I saw the notes breakdown because the Givaudan perfumer liked my post on Instagram. And so most likely, I believe he created this fragrance, Yann Vasnier. I could be wrong, but maybe it's him, maybe it's not him, maybe it's a colleague of his. But I saw that he liked the post, so I can only imagine he created Vanilla Sex because he's already created other fragrances for Tom Ford like Costa Azzurra and others. So this makes sense that he created this fragrance. But I should say it doesn't disappoint on first smell. You definitely pick up the sandalwood. You got that sandalwood in here. But I also picked up muskiness from this fragrance. I mentioned it in the post on Instagram. There is something musky under there, and most likely it's coming from the ultravanil or a combination of notes because bitter almonds, the bitterness may be something. Tonka beans can do a little bit of like tobacco ash and things like that. So the combination maybe produced a little bit of muskiness. At least I got it on me, and it had a bit of that kind of a smell to it. But in the end, it's very, very delicious. Really, really delicious. And I think Vanilla Sex might be a hit for Tom Ford because the last couple of fragrances have been a bit of a disappointment. And what I want from Tom Ford, because they are so extremely pricey, I want wow factor, because if it's not a wow factor, I'm not going to keep talking about it, you know? I like to promote their most amazing fragrances, and some of the latest releases have not been very interesting. But to me, this one, on that first spray, was pretty amazing, and I like the smell. I like fragrances that are gourmands. I absolutely love vanilla. Vanilla is a second favorite note of mine. And again, on first sniff, Vanilla Sex from Tom Ford does not disappoint. So most likely Vanilla Sex is also going into the higher price point, private blend collection fragrances, along with the other naughty fragrances like Fabulous, Bitter Peach, Rose Prick. What else is there? Lost Cherry. So this is probably going in there in that collection because the bottle itself is that kind of shiny material. They use lacquered kind of glass or whatever it is that they use in the bottles. So most likely it's going in there, which means outrageously priced. So with the fact that these are outrageously priced, I want a wow factor with the fragrance, and I got that with this one. Will I buy it? Most likely I will. Is it going to be popular? Well, vanilla is having a major moment. I think this is going to be popular. Is the name kind of bad or boring or stupid or not really necessary? I think I don't really like names like this personally, but I think it just gets people to stop and think about it. And if that's what it takes for people to stop, because we're bombarded with, thousands of fragrances coming at us, then it makes sense that they're going to keep, cranking out fragrances like this. So I'm excited for this. I think this is going to launch sometime at the end of December, or maybe, well, it's slated to launch at the beginning of January. But I have a feeling that the brand, or not the brand, but the stores will start putting them out if they've received their stock. Well, they'll start putting them out as soon as they can. My only problem is I'm going to be traveling starting around Christmas, so I might not get my hands on this until after I come back. I don't know the pricing of fragrances in Japan because I'll be traveling in Japan, so I don't know how much fragrances from Tom Ford will be selling over there for. So I'm hoping that I can get my hands on it before I leave, but I don't know. But this is an exciting one. For me, it is exciting. The last one, Mystère, was a bit boring, I think. It was okay. It wasn't anything to write home about. But again, I'm a big fan of vanilla, so it's a given that I like the way this one smells, and I'm all over it when the fragrance is officially launched. So if you've gotten your nose on this one, do let me know what your thoughts are. I know there were some bottles floating around all over the place here on the internet. In fact, when I did my video several months ago announcing Vanilla Sex, officially announcing Vanilla Sex, along with the Oud Wood Parfum and the Oud Minerale moving into Signature line, somebody saw someone with a bottle and tagged me about it on Instagram saying, hey, it's real, this is happening. But guess what? I've been talking about Vanilla Sex since last year, or maybe earlier this year, I should say. Earlier, like, I was thinking it was around December of last year when I first started talking about it, but it was definitely earlier this year, like January. But now it's officially coming true. Vanilla Sex will be launching soon. And you guys, those of you that are fans of vanilla, let me know if you're going to want to get your nose on this. Do you think it's extremely overpriced? I think it's extremely overpriced, but sometimes I like a fragrance too much and I can justify the price tag. But let me know your thoughts on this one. And let me talk to you a little bit about the redoing of Vanille Fatale. So Vanille Fatale is a fragrance that launched, I believe, in 2018, maybe 2017. I can't remember exactly. This is the original, and I still have a pretty full bottle of Vanille Fatale here. To me, this was kind of a feminine take on their vanilla fragrance like Tobacco Vanille. It was a bit also kind of solar tropical and a bit floral. So to me, it was a really great alternative to Tobacco Vanille. I think there were some fans of it, and it's currently still selling in a small bottle, not this large decanter. But apparently, if you caught my post on Instagram, they're relaunching it in a new bottle. It's moving into like a bottle like the lacquered, the Naughty Collection bottle of fragrances. So I don't know what's going to happen with it, but that's what they're doing. They're probably redoing it. Maybe it was pretty popular. Maybe people wanted it back. Maybe they're only launching it in the smaller size. I don't know, but it is now going into a different colored bottle. And it was right next to the Vanilla Sex when I got to sample it. But unfortunately, I didn't care for this new version of Vanille Fatale as much as I like the original. Next to Vanilla Sex, it was a bit of a dud. Now, maybe my nose was so used to vanilla sex that that one didn't smell as good at that time, but usually that doesn't happen with fragrances from me. I can go from one to the other and still smell the differences. But for me, Vanille Fatale in the new form was not as exciting and interesting in comparison to Vanille Fatale when it was first initially launched. Those of you that have information on these fragrances, if you are working for the company or something that you might know, put a comment down below so I can find out. But this is the information that I have. So we'll see what happens with the launch of Vanilla Sex and also the relaunch of Vanille Fatale. Maybe Vanille Fatale just didn't smell great at that time. It might be fine later, because I couldn't envision that it was changed so much. So I don't understand how it went from what it smells like now to what it smells, what it smells now and what it's going to smell like with the relaunch. It smelled quite different for me and also less vanillic. So I don't know, we'll see. But if you guys have any info on these two launches, do let me know. I don't have any full launch information on Oud Wood Parfum and the Oud Minerale relaunch, but most likely those are coming around the same time. But I have a feeling they're going to launch not all at the same time, but they're going to be spread out or something. But Vanilla Sex, I know for sure, it did make an appearance and it is coming most likely by the end of this month or maybe at the very beginning of January, which is when they launched the new launches over at Tom Ford. But they have also, I've noticed throughout the years, have launched relaunches of fragrances into signature collection. For example, Costa Azzurra Parfum launched in January, late December. Ombre Leather Parfum came out that same time, and so on. So most likely they're both going to launch around the same time. So the only one that I'm not 100% sure about is the Oud Wood Parfum. And the Oud Wood Parfum is something brand new. They have not launched a parfum in a the private blend collection yet, so I don't know how they're going to do this fragrance price wise also, because it's in the lower tier of price points with the Oud Wood in comparison to something like Lost Cherry or F Fabulous and things like that. So I'm still up in the air with how that's going to launch, but I am definitely excited and interested in finding out about Oud Wood Parfum as well. But either way, that's all the info I have for Vanilla Sex. I'm quite excited for this one, and I think a lot of people are going to be as well. I think it's going to be pretty popular. I can sense it. Go check out the post on Instagram. I can't believe how many people like that post. So there's demand for this fragrance, so I can only imagine it's going to be very, very big. It's a catchy name. Vanilla is, it's having a moment. It's very popular. So many vanilla fragrances out there, so this is going to get caught up in that excitement of vanilla fragrances, and I think it will do well. That's my opinion, that's my thoughts, and I may be correct about that one. But what do you guys think about Vanilla Sex? Let me know, put a comment down below. And also, what do you think about the relaunch of Vanille Fatale? I'd like to find out. Maybe I must have smelled something bad. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. Okay, I have some further info on the new Tom Ford releases that are soon to drop, including Vanilla Sex and also Vanille Fatale. So I was able to sample the two fragrances again after I first sampled it. And Vanille Fatale this particular time did not disappoint. So I don't know what happened with the first time compared to the second time. It didn't disappoint. The thing is, it is different than the original Vanille Fatale. I have a full bottle of Vanille Fatale, and I will keep that because most likely they're going to completely stop the original version of Vanille Fatale, and they're going to launch with a new version in the new bottle. But once again, Vanilla Sex is delicious. It's that kind of powdery, lactonic-y, almondy, nutty, nougat-like experience. And again, I will mention that there is a bit of a nuttiness, a bit of a muskiness in there as well, and probably because of the combination of the notes and that ultravanil note that I just mentioned in the main video. So those most likely are going to drop at the end of this month. That's what I was told. So look out for those soon. Both of those are dropping together as part of the more expensive private blend collection fragrances, and also all the imagery I saw online for VANILLE FATALE and Vanilla Sex, both of them will come in the large decanters. This is what I was told by sales associates and associates working for Tom Ford or Estee Lauder, and those will be dropping first at the end of this month. I'm hoping I can get my hands on Vanilla Sex. I'm not as excited for VANILLE FATALE because it's already an existing fragrance, even though they've changed it up from what it smells like. Still, I think I'm more excited about the Vanilla Sex because I enjoyed it and I already have, the VANILLE FATALE from Tom Ford. Now on to Oud Minerale. So Oud Minerale is supposedly dropping in January. That is moving from the private blend collection into the signature line. I already have a visual of what the bottle will look like. I'll drop it in real quickly. I'm not supposed to share it, but I'm going to share it with you guys because it is kind of be very public very soon. But I think I did not know this, but apparently Oud Minerale was already launched as a lighter eau de toilette as an exclusive fragrance for, what's the store chain? For an American beauty store chain. I'm drawing a blank with the name. Not Sephora, but another store. I didn't even know this store had this this fragrance. Never even sampled this original fragrance. But according to the information that I received, it's getting back to be more similar to the original Oud Minerale, and it is now moving into the bottles of the signature line. The bottle to me looks a bit like Metallique. And here's another information. Metallique is completely discontinued, so most likely this is going to replace the Metallique bottle, although they're very different fragrances. Metallique is an aldehydic fragrance, and according to Estee Lauder folks, this is permanently discontinued. I do have a backup bottle. I myself bought a backup bottle. If you guys are fans of Metallique, please get it, because again, it'll be discontinued and then stock will run out. Prices will go up. But back to Oud Minerale, it is going into a similar bottle to Metallique, and this will be a pretty popular fragrance, I think. It was already a pretty popular fragrance, and I wasn't a big fan of it at first. It kind of grew on me. I didn't really care for that kind of fishy minerality that it featured as a prominence in that fragrance, but kind of grew on me for some reason. So I'm looking forward to checking it out and seeing how it compares to the original Oud Minerale to the version in the signature line. And that store I was trying to think of is Ulta. I don't know if you guys ever recall smelling a version of Oud Minerale there. Do let me know. This is what I was told by Tom Ford Estee Lauder associates. So I never got my nose on this version of Oud Minerale that was supposedly selling there as an exclusive fragrance for Ulta. But yeah, like I said, if you have gotten your nose on that version of Oud Minerale, do let me know. But Oud Minerale is coming in the signature line in January. Now on to Oud Wood Parfum. Oud Wood Parfum is launching in March, supposedly. And also, coming with it is Neroli Portofino Parfum. I did not know of this particular release, but apparently it's coming. They have already launched a Forte, which I really enjoyed, of Neroli Portofino. Now they are launching a Parfum, and I was told it's very similar to the Forte. It is just being renamed as Neroli Portofino Parfum. So now we have two Parfums coming in the private blend collection of two fairly popular fragrances, Oud Wood and Neroli Portofino. And I'm excited for these, although I'm not so excited about the Neroli Portofino Parfum because I have a ton of decants of Neroli Portofino Forte, but the one I'm really excited about is Oud Wood Parfum. We'll see what direction it goes in. It's not going to be as animalic as Oud Wood Intense was when they launched that several years ago. This will be more like the original version of Oud Wood, but just more amplified and intensified with a light muskiness in there from what I was told. So really exciting new releases coming from Tom Ford. I'm excited for these. Let me know your thoughts on these releases from Tom Ford. Once again, most likely the Oud Wood Parfum and Neroli Portofino Parfum will be in the higher price point collection of Tom Ford Private Blend Collection fragrances. So that's the disappointing part about these fragrances, but I'm very, very curious to get my nose on Oud Wood Parfum and have a bottle of Vanilla Sex, which I'm hoping I can get my hands on it before I leave to my trip to Japan. And that's pretty much all I have for you. If I find out any more or any further information about these releases or any other releases from Tom Ford, I'll certainly report back. All right, one last bit of tea for you, a little tea for you here about tobacco oud. I know I've been hearing rumors about how people think that tobacco oud is going to be entering the Signature collection. Unfortunately, that information is not true. What's true about it is potentially it's going to go into the Reserve collection, which is the really, really expensive collection of these kind of metal label fragrances from Tom Ford. Italian Cypress is one of them. I believe Rive de Ombre is in there, Arabian Wood, and things like that. So that information about tobacco oud entering the Signature line is absolutely not. I was told once again it will not go in that collection because it's too much of a daring fragrance. But because it does have that cult following, people seem to really love it. And it's not necessarily it doesn't have like universal appeal. It's going to potentially go into the Reserve collection. So that's all the information I have for you here today on Tom Ford releases. Stick around for more videos tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have more information down the line for additional Tom Ford releases. Thanks so much for watching today. Bye-bye.